Okay, hello everyone, and welcome to episode number 213 of What Does This Button Do? It's an educational show about smartphones and technology with us, Geeks on Tour. You want to hit those buttons there? Great. All right. We ask that if you're on YouTube, go ahead and click the likes and subscribe, hit the bell, and then you'll be notified of things that happen when it happens. All right. So, Chris, you have a quick tip there? What Bluetooth speakers?
Yeah, we have a guest today talking about music, but I like to throw out a little quick tip. And this one is about just connecting your phone to external Bluetooth speakers. Hi, this is Chris Poole with Geeks on Tour. And this quick tip is about using Bluetooth speaker with your phone, either iPhone or Android. I'm going to show you. There are lots of choices. You can buy a Bluetooth speaker at any electronics store or even on Amazon. They range in price from $15 to a couple hundred. But regardless of what you get, there are some basic steps to connect them. Now, I am using this is the Bluetooth speaker that I'm going to be demonstrating. There's just a few buttons on the top, and you turn it on by pushing and holding on that button. And when it comes on, you see a blue light. If the blue light is blinking, it means that you are in pairing mode. That means it's ready to connect with a phone. I'm going to do the iPhone first. And just to be clear what we're talking about here, let me play a tiny bit of music. So that sounds pretty bad, right? I want the sound to be coming out of this much better Bluetooth speaker. Once again, just make sure that the blue light is blinking, and then on the phone, you go into your settings and Bluetooth and turn it on. And it should take a look around and see the Bluetooth speaker that is within range, Anchor Soundcore. All you do to connect is tap it. It tells us Anchor Soundcore is now connected. So let's try that music again. A little bit better, right? And notice now that the blue light is solid. When it is connected to a phone or any other device, the blue light is solid. Now I'm going to take you to my Android phone. And it's the same process, just looks slightly different. So you go into settings, and Bluetooth is underneath connections, right up at the top. Connections and Bluetooth, and turn it on. Notice it is not seeing this speaker. Why is that? Because the speaker says it's already connected. It's not in pairing mode. It's in playing mode. So that's what this Bluetooth button at the top is for. I tap that, the blue dot is blinking, and on the phone then, if it still doesn't show up, I tap on scan. Now it's there. To connect to it, I just tap and OK. And we like to listen to Audible books, so that's what I'm going to play on this one.
Contact with are the ones it eats, aside from the time when the female's eggs are fertilized.
And you can
a
have
process that occurs without any recognizable sign of joy or tenderness.
Lots of volume.
The offspring quickly develop big...
Okay.
There's one more issue you might encounter. Whether or not you want phone calls to ring through on the Bluetooth speaker. And to set those settings, you tap on the gear for the speaker.
Use Pandora.
And then you can tell it whether or not you want calls to go through to the speaker or just your media audio. So that is how you connect your phone to a Bluetooth speaker. On the speaker, you turn on the power, you make sure that it is in pairing mode. That is the blinking blue light. On the phone, you go into settings, Bluetooth, and turn it on. Scan for the speaker if need be, and then just tap the name to connect. Now, when you play music or any other sound, you will be hearing it through the speaker.
All right. Good job.
So that's how we do it in the RV. Because
Right.
we'll talk more about that later. But just wanted that quick tip out there.
Okay. Look at us. Hey everyone, I'm Jim, and here together with my wife Chris, we're Geeks on Tour. And do you think your smartphone is smarter than you? And do you have questions about your Android phone or your iPad tablet? And how do you learn about these amazing devices?
Well, we are geeks who teach, also known as propeller heads, another word for geek. And we believe that the best way to learn is a little bit at a time on a constant basis. So we come up with different topics to cover on this YouTube show. And all of these episodes are collected at our website, geeksontour.com. You'll see a listing of all 213 episodes, just all archived there.
Yep. So what are we doing now?
Well, we're at our home studio, but we did take a little road trip this last week. We went up to Gainesville to see some high school friends, and since our high school was a long time ago, we're old folks, and we were all vaccinated.
And we could actually hug and without masks and visit. It was weird for all of us because for many of us it was the first
time in a year and a half.
Over a year.
Well
over a year. So
to be hugging friends. So that was
it was nice.
That was great.
Yeah. All right. And we do want to say hi to our friends out there, people who have been coming in. Oh, goodness gracious. Debbie Diver, Sherry, Ron, Patrick, Bill. Oh, Bob, how's it going? Sherry. Who did I miss? Candace. Tom Parks. Jolin, how are things in the low country, huh?
You gonna click on?
Yeah.
And Sandra Milner from Casa Grande, Arizona. Our guest is from Arizona here today, too. We spent a lot of time in Casa Grande.
Yeah. Indy's mom. Hey. And who is that? Is that Jean and John?
Yeah.
It is. How are you guys doing?
Mesa.
The Watsons. Cool. All right. Thanks a lot for that, Bill. And how to use Pandora in my 2020 Subaru. I think Ray will be talking about that.
Yep.
Joel. All right. And who's that?
Hello from Berlin.
Yeah.
Detlef.
Yeah. Cool.
Yes, Jean and John. Yay.
Cool. Love to see you guys.
Oh, yeah. This has been the only way that we've seen old friends over the last year. And it sure is nice to be able to do this. So.
Yeah. And a lot of these folks are our premium members, and they're the ones who make this possible. We are member supported. We really thank our premium members for supporting us. And if you'd like to support us, you can do that too. And for our premium members, right after this webcast, we have a Zoom meeting for our premium members. Just log in and we'll see you after the show. There's a link and an email that Chris sends out. It's also on our website, geeksontour.com, and the member login link over there, right?
Yep.
Okay, so today we have a special guest, how to get music in the car. And I'm going to bring Ray in now. Hey, Ray.
Hey, good morning, guys. Glad to be here.
Oh, good to see you. Thanks for coming. We really appreciate it.
Yeah.
We saw a presentation that Ray gave for Tech for Seniors and just last week, and he's a regular on there. He's the music director for Tech for Senior, and we're happy to have him here. And he's going to be talking about getting music in the car.
Just let our audience know where you're coming from today, Ray.
Sure. I live in Arizona in a tiny little town called Pine. If you took your finger and put it on a map of Arizona, right in the center, that's where you'd find me. And more generally, we're halfway between Phoenix and Flagstaff. Mountains about 5,500 feet. So we get 4 seasons a year: snow in the winter and a little bit of heat in the summer, but not nearly as hot as it gets in Phoenix.
Ah, great.
So Arizona is well represented in our audience
Very
today.
much so. That's great.
So Ray is going to talk to us about getting music in the car, and I just want to mention that there are 2 previous episodes of What Does This Button Do that talked about similar topics. Episode 141 was how to get music on your smartphone, and episode 24, we're talking back in 2014, was about Bluetooth. But some things haven't changed. But if you feel like going back and reviewing some old shows, there you go. So Ray we saw him, as Jim mentioned, at Tech for Senior. You want to tell us just a bit about Tech for Senior and how people can watch that?
Sure. Tech for Senior is a weekly program. It's on Monday morning starting at noon Eastern time. And there's 4 of us that talk. Ron Brown, who some of you know, and Yui Poplik and Dewey Kloss, and actually Bob G from Avast, the Avast enthusiast. And we just direct programs and comments that are geared towards seniors. We open up at 8:30 for social time. And then when the program is over, I said 8:30 meaning West Coast time, but when the show is over, we stay on for about another 15 or 20 minutes to answer questions via chat, or actually this is a Zoom broadcast. So people actually talk to us on camera personally, and we can answer their questions. So it started really for the pandemic hitting, and for us to give the seniors another opportunity to get out of the house without literally getting out of the house. But it's become so popular. We're into our 2nd year now.
Yeah. And it's great. We tune in whenever we can. And I just so enjoy your music segments. So when we saw your presentation a couple of weeks ago, we thought we got to introduce him to our audience as
Right.
well.
Because we get a lot of questions about music in the RV or in the car while we travel, and we're not as into music as a lot of folks are. So we figured we'd get an expert.
But you really are into music. You've been a collector, right? Want to just give a little introduction before we play your video?
If my accent hasn't given me away yet, I was born and raised in New York City. I love to tell people that I never had an accent until the day I arrived in Arizona. But having said that, yeah, I started collecting, and I was there at the beginning of rock and roll when, for the first time, we had music not only specifically for teenagers, but performed by teenagers. And I started collecting at about age 11 or 12, 78 RPM records, which were made out of shellac. So that's why they chipped and can break easily. And then continued collecting. And I really haven't stopped. My musical genres have changed back and forth. I was really into early rock and roll, moved into folk music when Bob Dylan came on the scene and other artists like that. And now I've kind of gone back to my roots. And I meet with a group of 7 other guys every Thursday night for about 2 hours, where via Zoom, where we play either audio or videos of the groups and performers, and then we talk about them and educate ourselves as to what might be something interesting to us anyway. And I've actually created a video and maybe with the pandemic ending, it won't be as popular, but telling people how they can create their own Zoom music listening club.
Yes, I saw that. We'll put a link in the notes for this show.
Yeah. And did you know that it's Bob Dylan's 80th birthday tomorrow?
Absolutely did. They have actually what they're called Dylan Fest. And there's one going on right now. I mean, there's about 3 main ones around the globe that do this every year.
No doubt. Cool stuff.
So Ray put together a great video that even goes out to his car and shows exactly what you do. So we're just going to play that video. It's about 25 minutes long. You can ask questions in the chat while the video is playing, and Ray will try to make to write a few answers there, but we will come back afterwards and deal with all the questions.
Okay, so here we go.
Listening to music in your car. So this question has come up quite a bit in how far we've come from the AM radio. Remember when you had an AM radio with station push buttons and you thought, wow, I am cool. Well, music in the car has evolved. Yes, the AM radio started it all. And then we had the one that's just shown with that little photograph of station push buttons. FM was added probably in the very early 60s as a new band. The 8-track player came along. Then the cassette player came along. And then, of course, the CD player and ones that allowed multiple discs. We had satellite reception, a wired connection, a flash drive connection, and more recently, Bluetooth connectivity. So this has really, music in the car has evolved. And I would guess many people, most of the music they listen to is in their car. But it's like deja vu all over again. Yogi Berra. That, of course, is the quote from that famed New York Yankees catcher, one of my idols when I was growing up in the Bronx. And but let's think about it. We can recall when the 8-track tape player disappeared from cars and the cassette player disappeared from cars. So this really is nothing new. Even in my 2018 model vehicle, they no longer offer the simple audio cord connection. They're expecting everybody to use Bluetooth or some other more modern way. Now, why don't the new cars have CD players? At least 2 people approached me in my APCUG role and said, Ray, I bought a new car and it doesn't have a CD player. Well, it's new technology. CD players in cars have been around for more than 25 years. You have to have the physical media with you. The compact disc itself, usually the jewel case, that's not required anymore with newer technology. And music CD sales have been declining, not recently, but for the last 15 plus years. Younger listeners are opting for newer methods to hear their favorite artists and tunes. And so the auto manufacturers, they've gotten smart. While they're providing newer technology, they feel they can eliminate the expense of a CD player, which today has limited appeal. Now, we as consumers have to decide how we want to proceed. And there's going to be a few options here. Option 1 is to convert, or as the term is used, rip the songs from your existing compact disc collection to MP3 files that you would save on your computer. And then once they're on the computer, they can easily be copied to devices that'll allow you to play the music in your car. Option 2, you may say, hey, I don't want to go through all that trouble. In that case, you want to choose a streaming service and play the music in your car from your smartphone via Bluetooth or a wired connection. And is there an option 3? Well, there is. You can use both options. That's what I've done. So when you want to use option 1, convert the existing music files on your CDs to MP3s, there's several CD ripping programs that allow you to do that. And you can download these for Windows computers. Despite its age, believe it or not, my choice continues to be Windows Media Player version 12. It's simple to use, easy to use, and it comes preloaded in Windows 10. Apple users, and as well as Windows users for that matter, still have iTunes, even though it's been officially retired. Now, one of the issues many people with laptops face is the newer laptops don't or no longer have optical drives. In order to make them as thin as they do, they cannot have an optical drive. Well, here's what you can do though. There's these inexpensive portable units that plug into a USB connection. They're readily available and they're not, as I said, not that expensive. And this will allow you then to do the ripping of the CDs. So there's many YouTube videos that provide the visual instruction and narration to help you understand the process of ripping a music compact disc to your computer. Just type the words in the search box, rip CD Windows Media Player, and you'll find many choices. But if a picture is worth 1,000 words, then a video must be worth a lot more. So let me give you my video. This is going to be ripping a CD using Windows Media Player. Okay, folks, I've opened up the Windows Media Player that's on Windows 10. I've inserted the CD called Evolution by John Carpino, and it's recognized it, comes up and it shows the names of the tracks or songs, the time involved. All the contributing artists is John Carpino. Here's a CD album that came out in the year 2004. So I'm going to want to rip this to my computer now. So all of these songs are copied to the computer. But before I do that, I need to make some changes in my settings. So over here is the rip settings. I'm going to click on the drop down arrow, and there's a few things I want to look at. The first one is format. And as I hover over that, several choices open up. Now, the first four are all Windows Media type audio formats, and they're okay, but we're not going to use any of those, so we can disregard those. And the last three all have the word lossless as part of their title, and that really means that it's a high-end audio that's not compressed at all. Wave, as an example, that one choice there is typically what the format that's used on professionally made compact discs. We're going to choose, though, the one in the middle, MP3. That, while it is a compressed format, it's definitely the most versatile and will work in almost every kind of device. So that's what we want to record these and copy these and rip these as MP3s. The next category is audio quality. And this has to do with not only the quality of the sound, but the size of the file. And if you record this at a low kilobytes per second, say 128, that won't take up much room, but the quality won't be as good as if you do it, say, at 320 kilobytes per second, or in this case, the best quality. And I always opt for that, since we're already making this into an MP3, which is a compressed sound. Let's give it at least the very best possible quality in that regard. If I go down this list, there's a category called Rip CD automatically, and this could have a check mark next to it. I leave it unchecked. The concept here is sometimes I want to put a CD in my computer and just play it. I don't want to rip it automatically. So I leave that unchecked. The only time I might check it is if, let's say, I had a dozen CDs to do one after the other. I might keep a check there because that makes the process move a little bit quicker. And then the next category is eject CD after ripping. And I might normally put a check mark after that so I can have a visual as to when the process is done by seeing the CD ejected from the computer. But today I'm going to actually uncheck that. I don't want it to eject when we're done with this particular process. So I have all the settings made. I'm now going to click on the words over here, rip CD. And as soon as I click rip CD, it changes to stop rip, because if I wanted to, I could now use that same button for that purpose. But if I look over here, I'll see that all of these songs are pending, and the very first one, it has started the ripping process. So this goes pretty quick. It's already at 30%, and I'm going to let this flow and just let the first song completely rip, and then you'll see it automatically go to the next song. But then I'll pause it and let it finish, so we don't have to actually sit through and watch this whole process. There it is. That's how quickly that first song, 3 minutes and 47 seconds, but it was done in probably about 25 seconds, and it's been ripped to the library. It's automatically started on the second one. So at this point in time, I'm going to go over and I'm going to pause the video and come back when this is all done. Okay, the ripping has completed. All of the tracks say they've been ripped to the library. What does that mean? They've been ripped to the library. Well, with Windows, you have what I call a library, or what they call a library. Some people call it a folder entitled music. And that's automatically where the copies of the songs go. So if I open up the File Explorer and I go into this PC and I click on the music, lo and behold, there's a folder that was already created with the name of the artist, John Carpino. And if I double click on that, it's the name of the album. And if I double click on that, it shows the 10 tracks. Very nice. So I'm going to actually copy this to a flash drive. So with this window open, I'm going to go to File and say Open, or click on Open New Window. and it opens up an exact copy of the window I was using. I'm going to move that over here to the right, but now on this side, I don't want this to appear the same. I want to actually find the flash drive that I've inserted in my computer. So here, if I go down, I can click on the flash drive. Now I already have a folder called John Carpino because I have actually 3 CDs by him, and I've already copied or ripped the other 2 over to this particular flash drive. So I have his albums Come So Far and Like As We Know It. But now I want to add the Evolution that I just ripped. So it's very simple, drag and drop. So I click on Evolution, I drag it over to the flash drive, the folder for John Carpino, and I let go. And now it'll copy over the tracks. It says copying 11, and I believe there was just 10 tracks. Sometimes there's album art or something like that that gets added, and it might show 1 extra item, but it should just be the 10 tracks that we ripped before from the actual CD itself. So you can see this again is a quick process, takes just a matter of seconds. And then the Evolution album is here. If I double click on Evolution, yep, there's the 10 tracks that we had. So they can play on this computer, but what we're going to do is see how this flash drive plays in the car. So let's go do that now, and I'll be right back. Okay, we're back in the car, and now we're going to take the flash drive that I brought with me and put it into the USB connector slot. I have 2 in this car. Doesn't really matter which one I use. I put it in one of them, and then I close the console. Now my audio is off, so I'm going to turn my audio on. And I'm going to go to the home key and then audio, and it's already started playing. So I got the volume control here. Now it's not picked out the correct album art, which makes sense. And for some reason, John Carpino's name is coming out ARPIN. I don't know. That's not important. Now the purpose is to show you how this works. So as I said, I can use the controls here on the screen to either advance to the next song or go backwards. Now it's showing a total of 37 songs because I've actually downloaded on this flash drive the 3 CDs that I own. I'm going to now also show you how we can make these changes on the steering wheel. Here is, I can go to the next track just by using the controls on the steering wheel. I'll go back, and the same thing works for volume. And one of the nicest features is when you can actually choose a song based on the verbally asking for it. Play track, I Can't Get Arrested in This Town. And all by itself, just like that, up comes that song and starts to play. So think about as you're driving and you don't want to have to be touching the screen or anything, you can just speak what you want and the system will respond. And then if you're driving with a passenger who wants to see what other songs might be available, the passenger can tap the browse button, and then here list all the songs we have in alphabetical order. And so when you get to one you like, the passenger can do, okay, let me hear this song. So lots of nice features by using a flash drive in the car. Okay, so now we want to talk about playing the RIP songs in the car. We've just seen how the flash drive works for the cars equipped with the USB connector, either 1 or 2 of them. Now, this is not really something new. I had a car from 2008 that actually had a flash drive, a USB connector or a flash drive connector. So they've been around for more than 12 years. And as I said in that video, the ability to verbally request the songs and artists, to me, is the best feature because this allows hands-free usage, thus improving safe driving. And it's very much easier to carry several flash drives than several CD discs. Now, let's go a little bit further in talking about playing song files from a smartphone. And now smartphones with songs saved on external storage. So the Android smartphones allow, many of them do, for the use of a micro SD card to be added. Believe it or not, they can hold as much as 1 terabyte of music. I don't recommend that because most of the systems that read that don't have the ability to really index that much music. How much is that much music that could fit on a 1 terabyte SD card, micro SD card? Well, assuming an average song is 5 megabytes, a 1 terabyte micro SD card could fit approximately 200,000 of your favorite songs. That's over 17,000 hours of music, and that translates to just under 2 years of playing time. No time to sleep, just listening to music for 2 years. So if you're going to copy songs to the micro SD card, I always recommend do it while you can have it directly connected to your computer using an adapter. Since if using a cable connected to the smartphone, that's a much slower process. Now, iPhones do not allow the use of micro SD cards for additional storage. So if music you want to save on your iPhone, you're going to have to use the internal storage. And that might be taking up space that could be needed for other apps and system programs. So in this situation, those committed to the Apple ecosystem, the long-running iPod Touch is still around. Believe it or not, that was updated as recently as 2019, and it's an excellent choice to use for a music playing device. And then just the regular old MP3 players. They were very popular before this feature started appearing in smartphones, but they're still available to use, and they would work in a situation like this as well. So now we have to get the sound from your device to the car's speakers. There's a few ways it can be done. The first way I'm going to talk about is Bluetooth, and that allows you to pair your device with the car's stereo head unit to play the music wirelessly. Now, pairing procedures differ among all the different car manufacturers. So I would just recommend you check YouTube videos to find the one that works with your phone and your car. And if you can't, then this is where your car dealer can help in this regard. The next time you bring it in for service, have them show you what to do. And I'll talk a little bit more about the audio jack cable. And then I'll also talk a little bit more about what's called an FM transmitter. But right now, let's look at Bluetooth from your phone to your car speakers. Okay, we're back in the car, and this time it's going to be a demonstration of how the Bluetooth works when your phone is paired with the head unit in the car. And I've already done that with this phone. And this particular system is called Sync 3, actually allows for the pairing of several phones. So you could have your spouse's phone, you could have your kid's phone, and depending who wants to play the music on a particular drive, we can easily change to whose phone is going to be paired. So now in this case, I have brought up on my Musical.ly app the song by John Carpino called Get This Thing Right, and it's from the Evolution LP, and I'm going to use the button on the screen here to play it. Let me turn up the volume a little bit. So it's coming out, and that's nice, sounding good. But now, imagine I'm driving. I don't want to actually take my hands off the steering wheel. So I can just go to the controls on the steering wheel, and I can change the volume this way, either up or down. And likewise, if I want to go to the next track, it's just click on the seek button, and there's the next track. So again, safe driving, my hands really aren't coming off the steering wheel, and yet I'm controlling what I want to hear out of the car's speakers via Bluetooth from my phone. All right, now we also have option 2 that I mentioned before, and that's where you say, look, I'm not going to bother with ripping of the CDs. I'm going to just go with a streaming service. And most streaming services that we talked about in the past provide 2 choices. There's a free service. You tell them the genre you like, but the service plays the songs they want. Or choice 2, and to me is the better choice, for about $10 a month, you can choose the songs and artists you want to hear. And the leaders in this field are Spotify, YouTube Music, Apple Music, and Amazon Prime. And for those of you who are already paying for Amazon Prime, this is an included benefit and could provide just what you're looking for. Now, there is another service Amazon offers that does cost some money, and that's called Amazon Music Unlimited, and that has many, many more song choices. So let's see about using streaming service in your car.
All right, we're going to now use a streaming service. So I have Amazon Prime on my phone. Amazon Prime is free. Temporarily, I've also started a trial version of Amazon Music Unlimited, and that gives you many, many more song choices. So I'm going to tap on my Amazon Music on the phone. Comes up and it looks for the search history. I have John Carpino's name in already, so I'm going to keep it there and tap on that. And on the phone now, it's coming up with several results, and it has John Carpino as the artist. So I'll tap him, his name, and then it's showing the different albums that he has. Some of these I own, but some of them I don't. So if I go to this one here as an example and tap on it, it's going to show me all the different songs he's done. And I'm going to play the first one. I just tap on it. And now, even though it's playing on my phone through Bluetooth, it's coming out through the car speakers. And just like we did before, I can control the volume on the steering wheel. And I can also go to the next track on the phone, the next track on the phone, or come back. So again, all the things that you'd like to do and hear the music from your phone when it's connected via Bluetooth and you have a streaming service, you can hear all the different songs coming out of the head unit in your car. Okay, now we're in a car that does not have Bluetooth, but we still want to be able to utilize our cell phone as an example with the music we have on it to play in the car. So in this case, I use a wired connection. So normally most phones have a speaker jack. Instead of using the plug for headphones, I'm using it to connect it to the auxiliary input jack in this particular car. And I have a little holder here, and I'll talk about that in a second, that puts the phone right within easy reach of my hand as I'm driving. So I have it all connected, and I have my music Olay system set up. I want to hear a particular song, Hey Memphis by John Carpino. I just press the play button. And now again, it's coming out of the car speakers. Control it with the volume control here like I normally would. But I have all my music with me on my phone connected to the car, even without Bluetooth. Now what I've done is also I use this little bit of a holder here, and I'll just take this off for a second. This just clips right into, just hangs right on the CD insert spot. So that way, but it won't move, and I like it because it's within easy reach. Some cars have more vents, and you can use clips like that too, but for this particular vehicle, I think this worked out the best. Put this back, lock it in a little bit, and we're ready to go.
Liked what you heard? Then support this marvelous singer-songwriter by bringing home his music. Available on his website, johncarpino.com.
Okay, and last but not least, how about cars that don't even have an audio input plug or Bluetooth? Well, there's always a solution. It's called an FM transmitter, and it plugs into the DC power slot, or we used to call it the cigarette lighter. And then you can attach an audio cable between that external speaker jack of the transmitter and the device that you're going to be playing. Maybe you're going to have a cell phone, or maybe you want to put a portable CD player in your car and connect it that way. Now, this FM transmitter that I have myself actually will also accept a USB connection and a SD card, so you can have your music stored that way. And then what you do is you configure the FM transmitter to send its audio sound signal to a not in use FM radio station, and then listen to your music on that station on your car's FM radio. So bottom line, music formats will continue to change. One certainty with technology, that it's always evolving. We all need to evolve with it, otherwise get left behind.
There we go.
Okay.
How's that? Sorry about that.
All right.
Okay. Wow. There's so much. This could. Do you teach a week-long class? So we do have several questions. You wanna?
Yeah.
Did you, Mark?
I'm gonna, I
Go ahead.
okay, I'm going to stay here. What was happening is I've learned that when I have both the YouTube channel open and this direct StreamYard, I'm hearing the audio twice with about an 8-second delay.
Yeah. You need to turn off one of the audios.
Yeah, so I just disconnected from the YouTube, so now I'm just
okay.
here.
Okay.
So I won't be able to maybe type in the answers to the questions, but I certainly can verbally answer them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Well, one of the early questions was about using this technology in a 2020. What kind of car was it? She said. So the follow-up there is, how different are the different cars, or is what you showed, kind of standard? I don't know. We don't have a car with this stuff in it. We need a new car.
We do. We need a new car.
And a new no, we don't need a new RV, but we need a new radio.
I should get a new
it.
head in for our van.
Yeah.
All right. Most of the basics are the same, but there are different brands. Like I own a Ford Taurus, and they use what's called Sync 3. And they've had the Sync 1, Sync 2 over the years. My former car was a Ford Taurus, a 2008 model, and that had the original setup. I had a USB connector in that car. It had Bluetooth. I mean, it only had one USB connector.
Yeah.
So the short answer is basically they're all the same, but they do employ different manufacturers who make the systems, and some might have one caveat, maybe be a little bit different. But I mean, if it's Bluetooth, it's going to be pairing. Now, as I said in the slide, the different auto manufacturers have different ways for pairing a Bluetooth phone with a car unit. So it's better to look at YouTube and look at your particular model, or when you're in the dealer having your car worked on, ask them to show you.
Yeah, you do have to read the instructions, get the concepts so that you know when it's working. But
I remember when the instructions were like 50 pages. Now you have a separate 200-page book just for the audio system.
That's true. There's a question. Love the idea of the flash drive. You can make a road trip playlist with all your favorite road trip songs.
a follow-up on that, you mentioned how, and yeah, our car doesn't have a USB connection either, but that does sound like a great way to gather all your old favorites. Have you tried using one of these thumb drives that goes into a phone? So this thumb drive will go into an iPhone Lightning port, and I can get pictures back and forth. I haven't tried music.
Okay, I don't know. I don't own any Apple products, to be honest with you. That would, though, seem to be the answer to the problem with storage on an Apple phone, where you cannot use either a USB or a micro SD card, really. So that might be the way to do it, by plugging that in. I wasn't aware of that, but that looks like that could solve that problem.
Yeah, this particular thumb drive will plug into a C on my Android phone, or the Lightning on the iPhone, or the regular USB on a computer. So I will have to try that with music, and I'll report back to you.
Good.
But I've just gotten so lazy. All I do, I'm so used to around the house asking my Amazon Echo to just play me whatever music I want. It never occurred to me that there was an Amazon Music app for my phone. So yeah, I just installed that. I've been using YouTube Music and making playlists with that. There was a question here somewhere about playlists.
Okay, split screen for using two directories. I think you already answered that. What needs to be done with music in Apple Play, Stingray Music, or Amazon Music?
Now she had a follow-up later on that explains that question.
right.
So Sherry, yeah.
Sherry?
Yeah.
To clarify how to make playlists on Amazon, Apple Play, Amazon Music, or others. Yeah.
So the only way I've made the playlist is with the phone, is using the app in the phone, and there's again, depending what kind of phone it is. On my Android phone, I do it a little bit differently. I use a app called Music Olay, and Music Olay is just for Android. It's not available for Apple, unfortunately. But because I have so much of my own music, I just copy to the SD card on my phone. I probably have 30,000 songs on my SD card that I carry in my phone, and then I just play those. So I'm not looking to do it with a streaming service like Amazon. When I use the Amazon service, that might be because I want to hear some different kind of music that's not stored on my phone. Then I'll play that. So yeah. I make my playlist a little bit differently than most. So I don't really have a good answer for that question.
When I use Pandora on my phone and then I put it into the speaker, I just choose a genre or an artist. I don't pay for the premium version, and it gives me some ads, but it plays generally the kind of music that I'm asking for, and it's easy enough to skip a title that I don't.
Yeah, although they don't let you skip more than 6 times in an hour.
Yeah, but I don't normally need to do that. But I hear what you're saying. That's true.
I have made specific playlists. If Jim is driving and I know he needs to pick me up, I will start playing his playlist of specific songs that I know energize him.
And it always starts with the same song. That's the
Yeah.
thing that's funny about it.
So he knows.
I know
what's
what
going
you're
on.
playing right away. It's like, all right.
And
cool.
when I would visit my mom in her Alzheimer's memory care unit, music is one of the last things that they can still relate to. And I would get specific songs like from Frank Sinatra, back in her heyday and memory. And I would, and Mairzy Doats, and I mean, very specific songs, all
World
just
War II.
from YouTube Music, yeah, in a playlist. And I would turn on my phone and play that music, and we would tap our feet.
Yeah.
No, I could definitely say music helped me get through the pandemic. Being basically confined to the home and not going out, but being able to turn on the music. And it's the hardest part for me on my Tech for Seniors on Mondays is trying to pick a song or an artist that most will like. I can never pick one that everybody will like because music is so personal. It depends on our age. It depends on where we grew up and influences like that. So we have 100 people on Zoom, and they might be 100 different types of music that they like.
Yeah. True that.
That hearing aid question was probably
Yeah. Kiki says I have a Bluetooth hearing aid, and when the hearing aid seems to fight with the Bluetooth in the car over what's playing on the cell phone. How do you control that?
Here's what I did give an answer to that. Here's what I said. I don't think you can control it. I mean, Bluetooth is right now the technology. You're just connected to one device or the other. So if I was in the car alone, I would turn my hearing aid off and crank up the volume in the car.
Okay. Good answer. All right. So Jolyn says she has a 2019 Hyundai Santa Fe. It still needs to be a connected line for the Android Auto, so a cable. Cool.
Yeah, nothing wrong with that. Just plug into your phone, plug into the radio, and play what you want on your phone.
And it might charge you at the same time. Charge the battery. I don't know. Some do, some don't.
Yep.
And Bridget, I have lots of CDs. What's the best way to download them? I've already been.
Yeah, this is the options that I covered in the beginning of the video. Option 1 is time consuming. but you have complete control. You're taking all your CDs and you're ripping them to your computer. And I think this should be, I've done this from day one because that's my backup. If I lost the CD, if it got damaged, I have another copy I can make immediately using a blank disc. But that takes time. And some people don't have the time to do that. So then option 2 comes in where you pay for a streaming service. You can either do the free ones, you don't have to pay. You can do the free ones where the service kind of chooses what songs you'll hear and you get ads, or you can pay about $10 a month on average, and that's where you choose the music you want to hear, and you don't have to put up with ads. So those are the 2 choices. You can either rip the songs to your computer, and then you have them available on multiple devices, or pay for a streaming service.
Okay. And Michael says, since I pay for YouTube Premium, I love the YouTube music. Yeah. And it works with the G. So you can just ask it and it'll play what you want. That's awesome. Cool.
I see. One more question and then
My car has Starlight. I think if I use Pandora, do I have to have my iPhone connected by the cable?
I don't know. Sorry, I don't know anything about Starlight.
Starlight?
And he's talking about this iPhone,
or is it
which has.
OnStar?
Is it
Yeah.
OnStar?
Or is she talking about OnStar?
Yeah.
I don't know. And I just want to bring it back to the first little video that we did to say that we use these separate Bluetooth speaker in our RV. Our RV doesn't have any of the fancy controls that Ray showed, but this speaker can crank up really loud. I just play from my phone to the speaker and it plays our Audible books, our music, our turn-by-turn navigation. And it's something you mentioned, we can take it out to the picnic table when we get to where we're going too.
Right, it has a
it's
battery.
very
Within range.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, yeah.
I use something a little bit different, but I use headphones. Now these are wired headphones for this purpose, but when I go for hiking around here and I want to listen to my music, I have Bluetooth headphones. And there's many different styles available, and they work the same way, but you don't have this wire hanging down from your headphones to your phone because it's done by Bluetooth. So it's much more convenient.
Right. I've gone to the earbuds on my Pixel phone. So I have the Pixel earbuds and there's no wires, and yeah, same idea.
Yeah.
And they last quite a while, and we can even share them on our walk. She can get left ear and I'll get right ear.
Wow. That's
so that's pretty cool. Bridget says that the CDs she has are educational, old trainings. Yeah.
So yeah, those you have to rip. And that's like what I've decided. I have albums, CDs from Carole King and James Taylor. I don't need to rip those. I can get those from any streaming service. But I also have a CD of a music group that we saw when we went to Cuba that I don't know that any streaming service would have them. So that one I would want to rip.
No.
Yeah, I have some artists from the early days of rock and roll who came out with records or albums that were never digitized. And so pretty much if it's never been digitized, you're not going to find it on any streaming service.
Right. And you have to do it yourself. Yeah. We've talked about music stored on a cell phone or stored on a flash drive. How about music stored in Dropbox?
Well, I don't use Dropbox. I know of it, and it would be the same as if it was in OneDrive or any of the other cloud storage bases. I don't, and my phone does pick up. I've never tried it, so I don't have a really good answer for that.
We did cover that a little bit in our episode 141, and I did test it again the other day. I have ripped music in my OneDrive because it's, that's where it goes when I rip to my computer, and I can open my OneDrive app on my phone and play music. Yes.
Good. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, works fine.
So Bob says left ear, right ear. When you kiss, it's in stereo.
Good old Bob. Yes.
Thanks, Bob.
Cool.
Very helpful.
Oh, well, thanks so much. We should probably, do this again. And the one problem with music when you are doing a YouTube, you can't play music or you're going to get a copyright strike when we're live on YouTube. So that's why when you have your music groups, you do it in private Zoom meetings,
Yeah.
right?
And you don't have
That's right. And so what I had done in the past, I do another for APCUG music segment called How Technology Has Changed the Way We Listen to Music. And I start back from the 78 RPM record in the early 20th century leading all the way up to today. And in that case, I did play some music that, yes, YouTube came back and we actually cut it out so it wouldn't be there. Point is, I used John Carpino on this particular video that we just saw. Personal friend of mine, lives in the area. He's up in Grand Canyon now on the train playing. And we didn't get any strikes for the music in the video clip, but I did play a video of him on the train that's on YouTube, and that one they came back and questioned. And John has given me all kinds of permissions to do it. So it's a very complicated way to try to deal with them.
Yeah, and if they give you a strike, it can be difficult to try and get that taken care of.
Three strikes, you're out.
Yeah,
They'll close down your channel.
That's a little scary, especially if you have a large subscription base.
Yep. So I caution people all the time about that.
Yeah.
But so far we've done the John Carpino, the one we just did, and that there was no question about that one.
Yeah.
That's good.
Well, but we do want to remind you, subscribe to our YouTube channel. Let's get those numbers up and click the thumbs up. All right. And you wanted this one.
And thank you so much. Our guest,
Ray
Baxter.
Thank you so much. We appreciate you. And
my pleasure.
If you want to learn more from him, tune in to Tech for Senior every Monday, 9 a.m. on the West Coast, meaning noon on the East Coast.
Okay. And we do have our Zoom right after this with our members. And we have some questions. So hang on, Ray.
I will. Okay, sure.
Right here. You have to answer the questions. We told you there was going to be a test, right? Okay. Did you learn something? Getting music from CD to a computer is called duplicating, ripping, scraping, or streaming.
And the answer is ripping.
Yay.
With no internet connection, you can't stream music. Music must be A, on a Google Drive, B, in the cloud, or C, on the device.
And the answer is C, on the device. However, it's interesting that some of these services more recently have provided the ability, and this came from people writing in saying, I'm going camping next weekend. I want to be able to play my music. So you do now have the ability to download the music you want to hear as a playlist, but it's not really saved on your device. It's just saved on the app. And once you're done, it disappears a month later or so. Some of them, I guess, keep it forever, but you still don't have it saved as your music. But anyway, the answer, though, is on the device.
Okay. Storing music on a thumb drive is better than a CD or optical device because A, no CD player in the car, B, thumb drive stores more, C, both A and B.
Both A and B.
CC. All right. And let's see. True or false, you can import songs from music CDs to computer using either Windows or Mac as long as you have an optical drive.
I would say that's true.
Okay. And to play music from your phone when you don't have a Bluetooth capable radio, you can A, use a wire, B, use an FM transmitter, use a separate Bluetooth speaker, or all of the above.
Use an FM transmitter, and I actually have one here, and it plugs into the power socket on the car, and then you can actually plug a flash drive into the unit and play your music that way.
Wow.
That's cool.
We had an FM transmitter in our first RV and it's really cool. You set it to the station that has no signal on your radio, and you just tune your radio to that station, and then you
It
play your
works.
music. Yeah.
As you're traveling, sometimes you may have to change a channel here and there.
I
because-
use that FM transmitter for my RV, which is about 20 years old. So
Yeah.
you know it has nothing.
Right. Well, cool.
Will you be able to join us in our backstage, Ray?
Sure. I'll have
Okay.
you as long as you need me.
Great.
I'll give you the
Great.
link, and we'll be right there. So hold tight, and let's finish this up. Our backstage pass is right after this, and that is our online meeting using Zoom, and it's a benefit of supporting Geeks on Tour. You should have the link back there, right?
Yep. I sent out an email.
Remember to sign up for our newsletters, geeksontour.com/news. Members get,
Well, now they get the 2021 edition.
that's right.
Yeah.
The new book is at the printers. We're working on it. And so, Chris, what's the webpage that lists all of our YouTube shows?
Geeksontour.com. The menu item is YouTube shows.
And the webpage lists all of our recent newsletters.
Geeksontour.com. And the menu item is blogs and news.
And it's not just recent newsletters, it goes all
It
the
goes
way.
10 years worth.
So we do invite you to become a member, support Geeks on Tour. Just go to geeksontour.com/join now and click on that pay us backstage pass. I'm getting ready for that real quick.
And I think that's it.
And that's it. I'm Jim.
I'm Chris.
And
we are Geeks on Tour.
And
thank you to Ray Baxter, our guest today.
All right. And that is it. Thanks for joining us.